the more over here at HTM Sports, and we report live in the building, man. Hey, so I am hearing these rumblings, these rumors that Kellen Moore really might be out moving forward, and the Dallas Cowboys appear to have somebody in mind to take over the offensive coordinator position. I have no idea about the validity of these rumors, but when you tend to hear everybody saying the same thing where there's smoke, there's usually a fire. So the Dallas Cowboys seem to have Brian Schottenheimer pegged to be their next offensive coordinator, right? This is a guy who's already on the roster. Schottenheimer is currently functioning as a coaching analyst for the Dallas Cowboys. He's a guy that does a bunch of film study, breakdown, scouting of other teams. Cowboy Fan 95, what's good with you? Jason Jesus, what's good with you, man? I appreciate y'all for tapping in. So, this is nothing official. These are just rumblings. And, I kept hearing the boy's name, Schottenheimer. And so, I had to do some research on him. Willie Stovall, hey, Willie Stovall, what's good with you? Jesus, what's good with you, man? I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me. So, we're going to actually be researching some stuff on this boy together. Because, listen, I do want Kellen Moore out of Dallas. I do. I think we've gone as far as he can take us. However, I do not want to take a step back at offensive coordinator either. So, I want to really just look at what he did as an offensive coordinator, see if that can translate to the concepts we want to do to be successful next year moving forward. And then, after we look at the numbers and stuff like that, I'll give you my honest opinion about Brian Schottenheimer. And then if he doesn't grade out well, the stuff we're looking at, then, I'll see who else we can try to find. But right now, a name that's circulating around is Brian Schottenheimer. Like, there are people that are saying that he very well might be the next offensive coordinator. I'm not sure. But, I do want to do some research on it before we say yeah and nay. Now, usually, I be to looked at the stuff beforehand. As a matter of fact, I don't know much about the boy because I didn't even spell his name right. So there's an H in the Schottenheimer name. I'll change it. I'll change the title whenever. But yeah, it's actually SCH. No, Schottenheimer. Okay. Yeah, Kellen Moore has peaked as the OC for us. We need a playoff ready OC. Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. So his last time being the offensive coordinator, because I'm gonna pull up his stuff. All right, I'm looking at his stuff right now. So right now, he is a coaching analyst for the Dallas Cowboys. He is 49 years old, and I'm looking at his coaching pedigree, right? So his first job in the National Football League was as an assistant back in 1997. He then became an assistant in 1998. He was a wide receiver coach in 1999 for Syracuse. At USC, he was a tight ends coach. And then he broke through as a quarterbacks coach with the Washington Redskins. He then held that same position from 2002 to 2005 with the San Diego Chargers as a quarterbacks coach. All right, so he was the offensive coordinator. All right, so he was the offensive coordinator for the New York Jets 2006 to 2011. He was the offensive coordinator for the St. Louis Rams 2012 to 2014. He went back to the college as a coordinator. He held that same position at Georgia in 2015. He came back into the league in 2016 as a quarterbacks coach for the Indianapolis Colts, and he held that position till 2017. Now, this is where I remember him from. This next stop we're going to talk about. He was the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks from 2018 to 2020. If you remember the 2018 season, we actually played his offense. Right, we played his offense multiple times that season. We played them once in the regular season, and then we played them again in the playoffs because they came to Dallas as the number one rushing offense, and that was Dak Prescott's first playoff win. Overflowing Toxic. Hey, what's good with you, man? I appreciate you. Tavis Banks, I appreciate you for tapping in with me. My only hope for Kellen Moore is that he's just young and he's going to become a better OC. Well, man, that takes time, and time is something that we do not have at this moment. This core of players we have, we can't keep them together forever. Dak Prescott is getting older. I know it doesn't seem like it, but Dak Prescott is going to be a 30-year-old man next year. So, like, his window is closed just to even be in the NFL. So, how much longer did the Dak Prescott got? He only has maybe like 7, 8 more years in the league, and he's already been in the league 8 years. Next year is going to be his 8th year. So we need him a good quarterback coach right now, so that Dak Prescott can be a Hall of Fame candidate by the time he retires, right? Because he's not making Pro Bowls, he's not getting any of these accolades, he's not making All Pros in this system. He was a Pro Bowl quarterback before that, so I want to get him back to that. Oh yeah, ain't nothing wrong with being 30. I'm old too, man. Ain't nothing wrong with being 30, but just as a quarterback, having a limited amount of time to be able to play at a high level, like we need somebody in that can do this. So yeah, we all remember Schottenheimer from being the offensive coordinator in Seattle. So let's take a look at his first season in Seattle, because that's his most recent stop. I could go all the way back to 2006. I'm not going to do that. The NFL has changed so much. Concepts have changed so much. He wouldn't be the same offensive coordinator, from back then. So his most recent work as an offensive coordinator is in the 2018 to 2020 season. So let's take a look at that. All right. So I'm pulling up the 2018 NFL offensive rankings. All right, let's see. Points per game. All right. So in 2018, which was his first season as the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator, his team averaged 26.8 points per game, which is actually tied for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he was tied for 6th in scoring offense in 2018. That's not a bad mark. That's not a bad mark at all. All right. So his team averaged 26.8 points per game. That's not bad. All right. Now let's look at the passing yards. Let's look at the passing yards. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Shit, they on down here somewhere. They on down here. Well, damn. Okay. So total yardage. The Seattle Seahawks of 2016 only passed for 3,093 yards on the season. They only averaged 193 yards passing. Damn. So they were not a great passing offense. I see us ahead of them in 2016. We averaged 221 yards. Sorry, so there was not a very prolific passing offense that he was part of. Hey, how you doing, Miss Charlene? I appreciate you tapping in. Former rookie year, far for bust. Nah, he's not a bust at all. Let's see. Let's see. So far we have the 6th ranked scoring offense. They are I'll give you the exact number. Hold on. They so far down here. I actually got to count. I can't see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. All right. So they were the 27th passing offense in 2018. And then yardage, they were the number 1 rushing attack. All right. So they were 26. Oh, they were 26 passing. They were number 1 rushing. And then they were 6 in scoring. So it's not now when you think about it, as much as they ran, what's up, Henny? How you doing, fam? Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. Bring back safe day. Yeah. So as much as they ran, I can understand why the offensive numbers were so low passing. Right. This is before the people were talking about letting Russ cook and all that other stuff. And all right, let's look at total yardage. Let's see where they sit. All right, let's see. All right, there they go. So they were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. All right, so they were 18th in total yardage. So I don't know how to actually feel about that. I need to look a little bit deeper into that. He good with run. Mike McCarthy good with pass. Seemed like a perfect match to me. Yeah, well, he is a very run heavy. Well, just from this first year, it seemed like he was a very run heavy coordinator. So let's see. Yeah, cause boom. So they rushed for 2,560 yards on the season. It was first in the league, and they rushed for 160 yards a game, which was also first in the league. So like he was great at moving the ball on the ground, right? And they didn't have DK Metcalf at the time. It was Tyler Lockett and some other guys. So so I think that he did what he thought was best for that offense because they didn't have any prolific pass catchers at the time. So let's just to go over it again for anybody that's late. 27 passing offense, number 1 rushing offense, tied for 6th in scoring. So not numbers that blow you out of the water. Because remember, like they were the number 1 rushing offense in football. But we shut them down in the playoffs. And we were not a great run defense. Because remember, we turned around and gave up damn near 300 yards rushing the very next week. So they were not able to run against us. And we were not a good run defense. So I don't know that is an indictment on them. I don't know. We just played a good game that game. Like I have some questions about that. So let's look forward. All right, let's go ahead another year because he was there 3 years. He was there 3 seasons. So let's see what the 2019 input was looking like for that offense that he was coordinating. So I'm gonna pull up the 2019 NFL offensive rankings. All right, these are the official NFL numbers. All right, so let's take a look at. We'll start with passing, right? Because he did have Russell Wilson when Russell Wilson was still playing well. So let's see what those were looking like. All right. All right. So in the 2019 season, they were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13th. All right. So they were the 13th best pass. Hold on. Yeah, they were the 13th best passing offense in terms of passing yardage. They had 4,110 passing yards on the season. And then they were also 4th in passing touchdowns. So that's a very good combination right there. So they were middle of the pack in actual passing yardage, but they were top. They were toward the top in passing touchdowns. So you like that. You really like to see something like that. All right, so let's take a look at their completion percentage when passing the ball. All right, so on the season, they were 66% passing the ball through the air. So they were pretty efficient. That is a top 10 mark right there for the season. They only threw 6 interceptions. And when I say they, I'm talking about Russell Wilson. I'm pretty sure he was the only guy throwing the ball around that year. All right, so let's look at the rushing offense now, because that was nice though. I was pleasantly surprised by that. All right, and they were yet again a top rushing offense. All right, so they ran the ball 481 times for 2,200 yards in 2019. That's the fourth most yards in the league that season. They also rushed for 15 rushing touchdowns. All right, so that's good. That's good. So far he's produced a top five rushing offense both these seasons that he was there. They were the number one rushing offense the first year in 2018, and they were the number four rushing offense in 2019. So that bodes well. And then when you think about it, Marshawn Lynch wasn't there. Marshawn Lynch wasn't there, so he was doing this with a stable of different running backs. They didn't have a Bill Cow like a Ezekiel Elliott like we had. Because you got to think, 2018 Zeke was still a monster. 2018 Zeke, I think, made an All-Pro team. Play action off the run game. Yeah, I definitely could see that. Dak Prescott, thrives off of play action. Even this game that we lost, like he was almost perfect on play action. He was almost perfect on play action. He was 7 of, if I'm not mistaken, this last game that we played, Dak Prescott was 7 of 8 for 105 yards and a touchdown. Right. So he was damn near perfect on play action. It's all the other passes that, he was a little hit or miss on. So yeah, if Dak Prescott get a heavy dose of play action, he's one of the better quarterbacks in football. Right, so we have established that he likes to run the ball. I liked it. Right. I got the hat on right now. Run the damn ball. All right. So let's take a look. Let's go a little bit further. Let's look at points. Let me go and find their scoring output for that season. Let's take a look at their scoring offense. All right. Boom. All right. Wait till it loads. Because I'm trying to see how many points they were scoring. Because so far, so good. Right? Like, the passing game left a little to be desired the first year, but that was his first year. Looked like he started to get it together the longer he stayed there. So let's see. All right. Points. Here we go. Points per game in 2019. Booyah. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. They were the ninth best scoring offense in football. They scored 25.3 points per game that season. So not bad. So he had a top 10 scoring offense. He had a top 5 rushing offense. So he's not bad. Then he had a top 4 passing attack in terms of touchdown scored. So not bad. So let's see the final season of 2020. Because 2020 was a horrible year for us. Right? That's the year that Dak Prescott broke his leg. We saw like 4 quarterbacks that year. 2020 was a nightmare for me. So, I was not keeping up with Seattle at that time. All right, so 2020 NFL offensive rankings. All right, so let's see. We're going to start off with his passing attack, and then we'll look at the rushing. Because apparently he's gonna run that damn ball. What it looks like so far. All right, so passing wise, in 2020. Okay, let's see. They were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so they again were the 13th ranked passing offense in 2020. In terms of touchdowns scored through the air, they were towards the bottom. Looks like towards the bottom. Let me see. Unless my eyes are bad and I overlooked them that quick. Oh, I was wrong. Okay, they toward the top. So peep this out. They had 1, 2, 3, 4. They were they were tied for the third most passing touchdowns that year with 40. All right, so they had 40 passing touchdowns in 2020 with a 13th ranked passing offense in terms of yardage. Hey, what's goody? Hey, what's good with you, Jazzy Jeff? I appreciate you tapping in. So yeah, so damn, that's not bad at all. So that's they threw for the third most passing touchdowns. They were tied with the Bills and the Chiefs for passing touchdowns that year. Of course, they had Russell Wilson, of course, but seeing how Russell Wilson been playing lately, I do have to give him some credit. Got to give that offense some credit for that. All right, so let's look at the rushing attack because the rushing attack is what has caught my attention so far because it seems like he's getting a bunch of yardage on the ground. All right, look like his rushing offense took a little bit of a hit this year. So he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they were only the 12th rushing offense this year. They rushed for 1,971 yards, and they rushed for 15 rushing touchdowns. So not as impressive as the other years in terms of it. All right, so let's take a look at that scoring output then. Let's see where he ranked in scoring. Let's see where he ranked in scoring. All right, scoring. Bear with me. All right, let's see. Okay, so they were a good scoring offense. So they averaged 28.7 points per game that season. That's good for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they were the 8th ranked scoring offense that season. What's up? Hey, what's up with you, Eli? Why are we talking about right now? We talking about this guy, Brian Schottenheimer. Like there are rumors that he could possibly be the next offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys if they get rid of Kellen Moore. Now, for everybody that's new into the stream right now, Schottenheimer is a guy that's already on the team. He's a coaching analyst. He does behind the scenes stuff to help them prepare for different teams. So like he already here, right? He already has favorite, with the franchise. So that's why his name is circulating like that. Oh, it's pronounced Schottenheimer. Thank you. Thank you for informing me of that. So Schottenheimer. Okay. I've been calling the boy Schottenheimer this whole damn time, so I appreciate you. but that's why we're doing the show. I have no idea who this man is. Hey, Johnny Herrera, what's up with you? I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Hey, gang, what's up with you, man? So, all right, so Mr. Schottenheimer. Okay. So we were actually going back and looking at his offensive production from his last stop. He was last time he was an offensive coordinator was the 2018 to 2020 season for the Seattle Seahawks. Now his first 2 seasons with them, he had a very outstanding. I remember his daddy. I remember Marty because I was not mistaken. Like the daddy used to be the head coach for the Chiefs back in the day. Jerry had to give his blessing to Mike to fire Kellen Moore. This is the thing though. Like I don't think Kellen Moore even gonna get fired. When you are favored in an organization like the Dallas Cowboys, you don't just get fired. You get to fill up because like they'll probably what I think what's going to happen is they're going to probably promote Kellen Moore to assistant head coach and then promote Schottenheimer into offensive coordinator position. So, it'll just be two. They'll be rewarding 2 guys that they really like. And, he doesn't have to really do anything. He'll get to have the assistant head coach title, but he won't be out there calling plays. That they'll be up to Schottenheimer at that point. So it's a win-win. Kellen Moore can save face. He'll get he'll get a little pay raise. He won't get fired. And like Schottenheimer will get his shot with the Dallas Cowboys offense. Now, so far we've seen that he's had a top 12 off rushing attack every single season so far. He had the number 1 rushing offense in 2018. He had the number 4 rushing offense in 2019. And then, if I'm not mistaken, this says that he had the 12th ranked rushing offense in 2020. So it seems like he at least tries to have a decent running attack. Now, I know, from memory, that they were a little down on him towards the end. Marty Ball was fired for running too much. Yeah. Schottenheimer was pretty much fired for running too much. Because they remember, this is when they were talking about let Russ cook. Why they taking the ball out of Russell Wilson's hand? Why this? Why that? You remember that? Because he would run like that's why you seen like the rushing attempts started to go down a little bit each year. Like he was like they really were pressuring him into getting away from the offense he wanted to run. Now I can't speak because I haven't looked at not a bit of film yet to even sit on here and cap with y'all. I don't know what passing concepts he runs behind his run game. I know I can just tell from the raw numbers they run the ball a lot, but I don't know if he's running a power running scheme. I don't know if he utilized zone blocking in his scheme. I don't know if he likes to involve the quarterback in his run scheme. I have no idea because that's something that I would have to look at advanced analytics for. That's something I have to watch tape for. But I do know, just from the raw numbers that they have a bunch of rushing attempts they ran for a bunch of rushing yards. I will have to dig a little bit deeper, to get into the nitty gritty, to the underside of this. But so far, looking at his resume, he's not that bad. Like I'm guessing, I guess what I'm saying is we could do worse than Schottenheimer if he was to be considered for the head coaching job. He said San Diego Chargers 2 under Drew Brees. Sure enough, you're right about that. And listen, he's a guy that's been in the league for a long time at this point. He's a guy that's been in the league for quite a bit. Because his first coaching job was in '97. This is a guy that's going to be 50 years old. So I don't know. I really want to get you guys thoughts about it. Who would you prefer to be the next offensive coordinator in Dallas? Like I just want somebody, like I said before in my last show, I just want somebody that's going to run some West Coast principles, that Mike McCarthy likes. Now I could be mistaken. Schottenheimer might be a guy that runs West Coast passing systems behind his run game. We need experience to take a hold of this offense. We need somebody that has good situational awareness for play calling. Because like people are mad at Dak Prescott for throwing an interception in the red zone, but nobody really talking about the fact that they were throwing the ball on 2nd and 2 in the red zone. Right? So like that was a bad offensive call. Like it was a bad decision compounded by a bad throw by Dak Prescott. However, he put him in a bad position because you had 3 downs to get to 2 yards. You were already in field goal position. They were being way too aggressive at that point. So I want somebody that has a sense for the game, that know when it's getting away, that knows how to get his quarterback back engaged. That's what I need in my offensive coordinator. Because if we're sitting here, states away and can see that Dak Prescott is struggling, like I know Kellen Moore notices like being that close to him that he's struggling. Like he either needs to run some plays to get Dak Prescott back confident, or he needs to just take the ball out of his hand altogether and use his legs or hand the ball off to the running back. Like there are other things that you can do to get some positive yardage and keep the chains moving. So yeah. So who do y'all think? Because I'm not opposed to Schottenheimer so far. Like I would have to go and look a little bit deeper. Maybe do some film study. Mike, the head coach, he needs to demand Kellen Moore, we're gonna run West Coast offense. Well, this is the thing. Like Kellen Moore's system is his system, right? This is what he knows. So if he's installing plays, he need to be confident enough to know how to call those plays. Like he's gonna have to like. That's why I say like Kellen Moore does not have time to develop into the offensive coordinator that we need. It's going to take time for him to implement and install those concepts and then feel comfortable running them and then understand the down and distance when he needs to run them and this and that. So like it's gonna take too much time to get Kellen Moore up to speed to try and have him completely overhaul his offense. I just need at 25 to 30 attempts on the ground, everything else will work, will fall in place. Yep, well, you got the right guys for what it seems. Because from what I remember, they were upset at him for running the ball too much. So this is not a guy that you have to worry about, if he's going to give his running backs the ball. So knowing what I know about Schottenheimer in this short amount of time, you're going to have to keep some of these running backs around. Like you're going to have to work something out with Ezekiel Elliott. You're going to have to work something out with Tony Pollard, or you're going to have to go ahead and draft a running back. Because listen, if he's going to be our offensive coordinator, just judging by the raw numbers, again, this is not any film study or anything, but judging by the raw numbers of his last stop, he's going to run the ball a lot. And you need running backs to do so. That's exactly what I'm talking about. We were talking about his tenure from 2018 to 2020. 2018, he had the number one rushing attack in football. 2019, it was the number 4 rushing attack. And then in 2020, it was the number 12 rushing attack. By 2020, that's when they, started put a little bit of pressure on him to give the ball to Russell Wilson hands some more. So yeah, so far, man, like he doesn't look too bad. Now this could change because like raw numbers without any context never tell you the full story. So let's actually go and look at the Seattle Seahawks record these years, right? Let's go see if they were even competent these years, right? Let's go take a look. All right. So the Seattle Seahawks of 2018. Well, we know for a fact they made the playoffs, right? Because we played them. All right. So 2018, they won. They went 10-6. All right. So we can at least know that the offensive production that he got helped them win 10 games, right? It helped them win double-digit games, and it helped them make the playoffs. So we can't say that it wasn't a bunch of inflated numbers. 2019, the Seattle Seahawks went 11-5. Okay, okay, sweet. So they went 11-5. They made the playoffs. Yep, they made the playoffs as a wild card, going 11-5. And if I'm not mistaken, they beat the Eagles in their first playoff game. I think that's correct. Let me see. Yes, that's correct. They beat the Eagles in their first playoff game. Beat the Eagles, and then they lost to the Green Bay Packers the very next round. Okay, so we can see that they won. All right, so this system he was running won a playoff game. The system he was running helped him win double digit games back to back seasons. So that's a positive sign, right? So let's look at the 2020 season. Let's see how they finished. Seattle Seahawks 2020. They went 12-4. Not bad. Okay. They went 12-4. Did they win a playoff game? Let's see. All right, so let's see. They went 12-4. I'm trying to find who the hell they would have played. Let's see. All right, who the hell did they play in the playoffs? All right, so they were the 3 seed. They played the Rams. Okay, they lost to the Rams 20-30. So, so on the bright side, the offense that he ran helped them win double digit games 3 years in a row. It helped them win a playoff game, and it helped them make the playoff three straight years in a row. So that's good enough. And I know it's a complete team effort, right? It's a complete team effort. However, they contributed enough to help them win double digit games. They were never a bottom feeding offense. They finished at least in the top 12 in rushing. And the last 2 seasons, like they were top 5 in passing touchdowns. So you gotta like that. So I don't know. I said this is still not enough to completely sell me, but the prospect of him possibly getting that position doesn't worry me as much looking at this point, just on the raw numbers. So we need weapons on offense, wide receiver, running back, and tight end. Yeah, we need weapons. We definitely need weapons. And like no matter who came in here and became the offensive coordinator, we would need weapons anyway, right? Because we just seen what a lack of weapons outside of CeeDee Lamb got you. Because CeeDee Lamb showed up in that playoff game, and you can't really say the same about everybody else. Michael Gallup, I know he was dealing with a knee injury. No, he was hobbled from having surgery in the offseason. He was not himself. T.Y. Hilton, he caught one singular pass. Even Dalton Schultz, a guy that I campaigned for a lot. I'm a lot higher on Dalton Schultz than a lot of other people. He did not produce in this last playoff game. So, we need weapons moving forward if we want to be successful, regardless of who was going to be the offensive coordinator. You damn sure going to need better weapons if Kellen Moore is your play caller. If Kellen Moore is your play caller, you're definitely going to need much better weapons than what he got right now. And in Kellen Moore's defense, I think the entire offense took a step back. We just need another big wide receiver to back up CD. I want a speedster, man, opposite of CeeDee Lamb, because we are so slow. Like when you compare like what we got on the outside compared to all the other teams, man, like we don't have anybody that even threatens us down, that even threatens the defenses down the field. Because CeeDee Lamb, he run a 4.5. He's explosive. He's a great, he's great after the catch guy, things like that. But he's not going to just threaten you down the field like a Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle or any of the other speedsters do. And then Michael Gallup's about the same way. He's a slant guy, contested catch guy, but he's 4.5. 4.5 speed. The fastest guys on our team is Cavante Turpin and Tony Pollard. And Tony Pollard was regulated to a backup running back for most of the season. And Cavante Turpin did not catch a single pass until the last play of the season. So, like, we need more, right? We need much better receiving options than what we have. Because I think, and don't get me wrong, I think that Turpin and Tony Pollard could be utilized as true, legit weapons down the field and in the middle of the field, but they hardly ever get the opportunity to do so. So, I think it's best if we get a true 4.3, 4.29 speed wide receiver. I think that will open up a lot of stuff for us, especially for CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, I definitely will go 4.3 wide receiver in the draft. Like the Hyatt boy from Tennessee, like he reported he's supposed to be super fast. They say he might be 4.2 fast. So I'm down for adding speed. That's one area in this offense that we need a lot. Please, you Turk. We gonna see, man. we're gonna see. He like Turpin should have had more opportunities just off the principle of him being your fastest guy. Off the principle of being your fastest receiver, he deserved to at least try to catch a screen. He deserved to at least try a post route, something. So I don't know. We'll have to figure this out. But we definitely need listen, and it's even crazier to expect us to win with the personnel group that we have compared to these other teams that are still playing. If you look at what they have in Cincinnati, they got two proven, established 1,000-yard receivers, right? They got a great tight end. They got a great running back, and the line is still shaky, but they got a bunch of dangerous guys at the skill positions. And like Patrick Mahomes doesn't have the same arsenal of weapons that he had, but Juju Smith-Schuster is still a real good player. Then they still have Kelsey, who's the best tight end in football. Then they got a great offensive coordinator. And when you look at the Eagles and you look at San Fran, they got all pros all over their damn team. Like the Eagles got AJ Brown, they got Dallas Goddard, they got Devonta Smith, Pascal. Like even like they third and fourth receivers can do damage. And then we already seen the 49ers skill position players up close and personal. When you think about Kittle, Debo Samuels, Ayuk, uh, Christian McCaffrey, like they're all these teams are loaded. So to expect us, all the guys are strapped. All the guys have weapons of mass destruction, and we pulling up with water guns. Putting him in disrupts the defense because of how much attention he takes from them. Yeah. Like you have to like the moment that Cavante Turpin comes on the field, you have to account for him. Because if you're playing zone, you can't let him run through your area because if he gets behind the defense, it's over. If you're playing man to him, you have to give him a cushion. You might have to even get safety help because of his speed. So, like you have to account for a guy that fast, whenever they come onto the scene, especially if you're moving him around the offense. So yeah, we need more creativity. We need more consistency in our play calling. I definitely agree with y'all on all that for real. But yeah, so this is what I'm gonna say about Schottenheimer so far. If they make that decision, like just at face value, I'm gonna say this again, at face value, I would rock with him. But since this is still all theoretical stuff, who do y'all want to be your offensive coordinator? Let's say like money was not an issue, you know, any available realistic coach. Now I know some people be saying Tony Romo, he's not going to leave that booth. He is set for life. Right? He'll never get fired. He get an easy job. He makes all the money in the world and barely have to work. So like guys that are announcing right now, stuff like that, I don't think that any of them are going to come and be an offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. But is there anybody else y'all could think of that y'all would possibly want to take their position? Because, like I said, I'm hoping pretty soon that they announce that Kellen Moore is going to be transitioning to a new position on the team. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll flat out fire him, but I can definitely see him becoming the new assistant head coach and them saving face in him. Because it still would be getting us getting what we want. Like Kellen Moore wouldn't be calling plays in that capacity. He wouldn't be calling plays in that capacity. He said any coach, Kyle Shanahan. Like man, we would have been won a championship with Kyle Shanahan as our play caller and head coach. Because look what he does with these random ass quarterbacks in his system. You like people were hyped about Jimmy Garoppolo. Then he got hurt. and you seen him, be competitive with Trey Lance. Then you seen what he did with Brock Purdy, and even though Nick Mullins wasn't perfect, you seen him win games with Nick Mullins. So Kyle Shanahan, man, like you just gotta respect what he does as a play caller, and you also got to respect their GM for putting that roster of talent around them. They hit on Kittle, they hit on Debo, they hit on Ayuk. They were very aggressive, and they went and got McCaffrey, and they really still had hit on Mitchell. Like Mitchell is still a very good back in of himself. So like they've been real good at assembling a good roster of talent over there. So I can't talk enough about that. I can't talk enough about that. So here's an interesting name for y'all to consider, and I don't know if I want him or not, but I know that he's a more proven commodity than Kellen Moore. How do y'all feel about Byron Leftwich? Even though he is a little bit more pass happy than I would like, what would you feel you could do on this offense with Byron Leftwich? We are getting 3 compensatory picks in draft 2 in the field from 1 more in the 6, so we can trade for good football players. The best for Kellen Moore, front office in charge of ticket sales job. Yep. Yeah, but how would y'all feel about Byron Leftwich though? Yeah, let's put your comments in the in the chat. I want to see something. How would y'all feel about Byron Leftwich? Damn good coordinator, but I don't know he actually fits for what I want us to do. Now he is the exact opposite of Schottenheimer because he does not like running the ball. He had a hard time establishing a run game this season. They actually had the worst rushing attack in all of football this year. So I think I might have just talked myself out of it. I might not even need y'all to even chime in any further. I need somebody that can consistently run the ball when we need to. We don't have to be perfect at it, but when the game is on the line, I need us to put on our big boy pads and establish ourselves in the trenches. That's some of the best football that we've played. When you look back to the 2016, 17, 18 season when Dak was in his younger stages and Zeke didn't have the wear and tear on his body, that was our calling card, our physicality, our ability to win in the trenches, to move defensive tackles where they didn't want to be moved, to run at will. Like, we were a very physical football team to start. I need us to get back to that. I need more power football and a little bit less finesse. To think about it, in an alternate reality, if we had ran the ball on 2nd and 2, we might be playing. And I know it's one sequence, but that was a big sequence in the game. Because we chose to throw the ball on a 2nd and short yardage situation, we took points off of the board and then allowed them to score points in the same sequence. That right there could have very well been a 10-point turnaround because we were getting ready to go in to score a touchdown, and they got a field goal off of that. That is a 10-point turnaround at a point where the game was tied, and we only lost the game by 7 points. We could have won that game by 3. If everything happened the same way, we could have won that game by 3. Had we just ran the ball on 2nd and 2 instead of putting Dak Prescott in position to throw an interception. Get the OC from Georgia. He was out there coordinating his ass off in that national championship game. Like everything he dialed up was working. In fact, let me see what his name is. I think he's going back, of course, but let's take a look. Todd Monken is his name. Okay. Todd Monken to interview. They say that he is already interviewing for offensive head coaching jobs and is not with us. Todd Monken actually just had an interview with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for their vacant head coaching position. Okay, cool. So he is interested in an NFL job. Okay, so damn. But yeah, I would take him. He looked good. When I seen him, I don't follow Georgia, but when I did see him play, give me a no name OC, one that doesn't come out and empty on 2nd and 2. I know, right? Sometimes, man, like Kellen Moore is a smart dude, man, but sometimes he outsmarts himself. Because 2nd and 2, you went empty set. You went empty set on 2nd and 2. Then you call the option route on top of that. You call the option route. I get a little bit more stress every time I talk about it. We say, plus you're asking Byron to run the offense. Brady knew what he wanted out of the offense. Dak doesn't have that Brady ability yet as far as command on the field. That's fair. Dak still needs help coaching wise. I think he does. I think Dak Prescott needs a good quarterback coach, and I think we need a good offensive system that suits what he does. When you try to turn Dak Prescott into Tom Brady, that's where your issue is. But when you let Dak Prescott be Dak Prescott, he's still a very, very viable option at quarterback. Let's see. All right. Jerry Jones can throw some money and bring a fresh OC? He needs to. He needs to figure something out in regards to this offense. Any other suggestions outside of Schottenheimer? Hold on. Yeah, I would go and get the best. No, I would. As crazy as this sound, I would go get the new Kellen Moore. I would go and get the new Kellen Moore. And I'm not saying new Kellen Moore as in he want to call the same schemes and stuff, but the next person that's looked at as the upcoming offensive mastermind. But like that guy probably actually has more experience than Kellen Moore does right now. Because listen, all the other coordinators, aren't learning on the job. Kellen Moore, been an offensive coordinator for 4 years, and those are his only 4 years of experience at the position. The other hot names, the other hot commodities, they've been in the trenches. They've been battle tested, been battle proven. They have a system that works, and that's why they're touted about. Kellen Moore was just elevated off of his play installation, and they expected him to be a good offensive coordinator. And this is another thing I want to ask y'all about real quick. Yeah, I damn sure would take Eric Bieniemy. Like, people can say what they want. I damn sure would take Eric Bieniemy. Because at least I know we're not going to run. At least I know we ain't going to run a 100 curl route, right? Anybody that ain't coming in here running 1,000 curls, bring them on in. But those curl routes and shit, no. The people forget the Quincy era, Drew Hutchinson, Ryan Leaf, man. I know. Like, and this is the thing. There's so many people that are down on Dak Prescott right now because of his performance. And I get it. He played bad, man. He had a real bad game. But people I have the nerve to say what's stuck with Dak Prescott. Like he still isn't a top 10 quarterback. Like, Dak Prescott is still a damn good quarterback. Think about this, man. Like, all the other guys they be trying to put over Dak Prescott, He has more wins than Kyler Murray, than Justin Herbert, Deshaun Watson. He has more playoff wins than Kirk Cousins. He has more playoff wins than Derek Carr. Like, he's been more successful than a lot of these other quarterbacks. Granted, you know, he coming off a bad game, but they act like they people act like they didn't see the game before where he had a 5-touchdown game on the road against Tom Brady now. So we're way too hot and cold on our quarterback. Like, he has areas he needs to improve in. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Joe Burrow. But I think those are the two top quarterbacks. I think those are the two top quarterbacks right there. I'm not even putting Josh Allen up there because Josh Allen played bad at home and got sent home. He went to one championship game and they lost by two touchdowns. So it's not like he's this guy that's putting this entire team on his back and leading them to the promised land. Like, he's playing his ass off and they're losing games. Just like Dak Prescott be playing his ass off and we be losing games. You know what I mean? Peyton Manning didn't go to Super Bowl till his 8th year. Buddy, that was actually his 9th year. Like, that was year number 9 that Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl. Same with Drew Brees. It was year number 9 when he won the Super Bowl. And if we're being honest, Peyton Manning didn't win a playoff game till his 6th season. And Drew Brees didn't win a playoff game till his 7th season. Then Matthew Stafford, like, the only playoff wins of his career came last year when he won the Super Bowl. Like, he spent over 12 years in Detroit. People were writing him off. So, like, you don't win as much as Dak Prescott has won. You don't put up the numbers that Dak Prescott has put up, and just be a bad quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a bad quarterback. Now, he needs more. He needs more to win at the level that we want him to win at. But I can't look at Joe Burrow when he has Chase and Higgins and the tight end and Joe Mixon and all the other guys around him, and then expect Dak Prescott to carry a team with Noah Brown and what's left of Michael Gallup and a 33-year-old T.Y. Hilton. Like, and I get it. CeeDee Lamb is a dog, but I can't expect Dak Prescott to do more than a number one overall pick or a first round pick. Like, these guys are supposed to be where they're at. Dak Prescott was the guy drafted in the 4th who's been overachieving his entire career. Like, everything that Dak Prescott has right now isn't just really based off his raw talent. He's been putting in the work to get here. Like, Dak Prescott watches a lot of film. Dak Prescott works out a lot. That's why he's able to play at the level he's at. So, he's not like this guy with this God-given talent. He's been putting in work, especially if you look at where he came from and his development from college to this point. So, I'm not down on Dak Prescott at all, because a guy who wants it like he wants it, like, you can trust him. We need more dogs on offense. We got CeeDee Lamb is a straight up pit bull. He a Rottweiler or something. Like, I think Dak got some dog in him too. We just gonna have to. People tend to forget that Dak is extremely intelligent. Brother has a master's degree. Yeah, he has a master's degree in leadership. He is a very intelligent quarterback. And when you think about all the stuff that he does pre-snap, like, he one of the best in the game in pre-snap analysis and things like that. That's why a lot of time defenses be playing, like, he be playing game back and forth with the defense. Like, Dak Prescott will kill a play, change the play. Defense will they generally have to adjust them themselves, because Dak Prescott's very good at getting you in coverages that he wants to lure you into. So, but that's neither here nor there. Like, Dak Prescott is a damn good quarterback. Like, people just need to stop playing Madden. They play Madden on rookie mode and win 2, 3 Super Bowls. I think that's how it works in real life. They got to calm down. They got to come all the way down, kinfolk. But yeah, man, I'd have been on here damn near an hour. I appreciate y'all for chopping it up with me. Because I had told y'all I was gonna look into the Schottenheimer guy. His name been ringing bells recently. See if his offense suits what we do. So far, I ain't gonna say he got my stamp of approval, but just looking at the raw numbers, like he's a guy that fits what we like to do. Mike McCarthy wants to run the ball. He runs the ball, and he won't. I don't think he will fight Mike on running option routes. There's not too many offenses that run the number of option routes that kill him more runs anyway. So bringing him in will automatically fix a bunch of that. There won't be numerous guys running option routes. I think Mike McCarthy will get his wish for some more West Coast concepts in his passing game, and he will also get his wish in having a offensive coordinator that wants to run the ball. So I'm fine with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's better than what we have. If we think that we have a C or a B minus offensive coordinator, even if he's just a good B, he's better than what we have, right? And again, I would have to go and look at film. I have to go look at some breakdowns on his concepts to see if I'm really sold on him or not. Because I just looked at raw numbers by themselves, so that doesn't tell the whole story. The West Coast offense coming soon, Henny. I hope so. So yeah, I'll go and look. If he is a guy that runs West Coast concepts, then I'll be sold on him. But hey, I appreciate y'all for taking the time out y'all evening to chop it up with me. I will be going live later on tonight, just to run back over some of this stuff, touch on some topics. I probably will be with West Coast and landlord from Alabama. So I appreciate y'all again. Y'all be blessed, and I thank y'all. Oh, hey, before I get out of here, remember, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to build this up to $1,000. Well, $1,000, 1,000 subscribers, so I can start making some money on here. So we can donate and invest back into the channel so I can bring y'all more quality content. So again, appreciate y'all.